So we kicked around some ideas. Lots of ideas out there on the internet. Again, we decided to go with the top 3 from my coworkers, but still, you know, it was so many decisions to make. So let me show you the final product of what we came up with. Here is my hood liner. Okay. Now, if you notice here, it's going to be tough to do with one hand. Back out just slightly. You see Nikola Tesla. Some things that we stole, some things that we improvised on. First off, you see this here. You see how the hands are pulsating down on Tesla, right? We decided to turn the hands outward and let the orb go in the middle. You see here on this one right here, he has the orb in his hand and he has that menacing look. You see that look right there? He has that menacing look. We decided to get that menacing look here. One of my favorite ones that I couldn't find on the internet was his tie was flowing in the wind because of all of the electricity. Another thing that we decided to go with was the Nikola Tesla from 1856 to 1943. And what the artist did was something completely unexpected. He put the Tesla T right there instead of a normal T, and I thought that was just awesome. He really tied it home when he did that. So we took 3 images and we made this one gigantic mural, or he made it. And this man's name is Corrado. He's in Toronto, Canada. So I got hit with the tariffs of shipping a hood liner over to Canada, and having him do it. Took about 4 weeks to do. He sent me samples, which you will see in this video. He clear coated it and he shipped it back, and I had to pay tariffs on that again. So I got screwed with these tariffs, man. And no matter what whoever's in office says about tariffs, whenever they go high, it's not good for the consumer. I'm living proof of that with this. So I called Tesla and I asked if I could buy a hood liner, and they were so puzzled. They were like, why do you want a hood liner? So I want to send a hood liner to Canada. I didn't get into all of the details, but my main goal was in case it falls through, I can go back to my original hood liner. So I ended up buying this hood liner on eBay. I bought this hood liner not on eBay. I bought the hood liner. I looked at it on eBay and the price was about $230, somewhere between $250 and $275. And Tesla was nice enough to give it to me right around about $240. The crazy thing is my phone number begins with 253 and I live in Maryland. 253 phone number is in Washington State. When I was in the military, I was stationed near Seattle. And when I called Tyson's, which is my service station here, they did not have a hood liner. They asked me many times, are you sure you want a hood liner or do you want a headliner? And I said, I want a hood liner. They was having all kind of problems getting me a hood liner. One time I called on my cell phone, which again was 253, and I got tied with the Seattle, Washington service center, and they was more than happy to send me a hood liner. So they sent the hood liner to the service center. The service center shipped it to me. And then I ended up shipping the hood liner to Canada with tariffs. And about 6-7 weeks later, I got this. And I'm gonna show you how we got this installed. But before that, Corrado asked me, what is the color of my paint? And I told him, I said, I have a titanium metallic color car. And one thing I didn't know that when you do something like this, the paint codes is actually in your car, and I'm gonna show you where the paint codes are. So the paint code, he told me to go down here and just take a look at this information right down here. You can get the information, and you have the paint code, which is right here where it says PNT, PPTI. That is the paint code. So I gave him the paint code, and he matched the paint perfectly with this titanium metallic when it comes to the darker parts right here. And of course he took a little bit of liberty to make some parts lighter but the darker parts are actually matches up perfectly with the car, which was so cool. Now, we get the hood liner to him. I took the pins out. This is so crazy. Tesla has these pins in the hood liners. You see all these holes? They have the hood liners in here, and that holds the hood liner to the car. And he asked me, well, what? Can you give me the schematics of the pin location, because the pins are different sizes? I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? So I had to call Tesla back and ask if I could get the correct pin alignment. They sent me a schematic. Thank God the lady in Seattle was just the bomb. I could not get it done in Baltimore. I'm not slamming Baltimore. I couldn't get it done in Rockville, not slamming Rockville or Tyson's. But the Seattle Washington Service Center, oh my God, they were my lifesaver with this project. So they gave me the schematics, and come to find out that yes, indeed, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. No, but there it is, the hood liner pins. So you have the two big pins here, then you have a series of pins here. You have the outer pins here, you have the inner pins here, and then you have the two big pins here. So you see how the schematic goes, right? That's very important, because when he spray paints or when he airbrushes this mural, the pins have to be aligned to what he was doing. So, God, Jesus. So when he sent me the hood liner, he sent me the pins on a cardboard. I wish I'd have kept the cardboard. And he was basically telling me, pin 1 goes here, pin 2 goes here, you know, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goes here, pins on the outside go over here, the pins down at the bottom go here, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So it was like putting a puzzle together, but it was fairly easy. So let me show you the pin alignments, for example. So, see, here's a pin right here where my finger is. See, you got a pin here, you got pins here, you got a pin where he painted half black and half green. And then the other side is half green and a little smidge of black. So you got all the hood liner pins all over the place. I can barely see my finger because it's so bright out here. So there we go, right here. So you got the hood liners, all the pins in the hood liners in all correct order. Wow, so that was a lot. So when you look at my front, you see this. Then down here, you also see that I have the oil-free miles. And someone asked me the other day, did I pay $28,000 for this car? And I said, no, it's 28,000 oil-free miles. And in case anybody wants to ask any questions about electric vehicles or how much they cost, there's a chart here that I got from EVA DC, the Electric Vehicle Association of Greater Washington DC. Down here again, you have the Roadster up here, and then you have all the list prices of all the cars. You might have seen them at any electric show. The sun is tremendously bright, so I also give them an example of what the battery looks like here, and then up here I always like to talk about, let's just move this out of the sun. I always like to talk about how you charge the car. So when you're talking about charging the car, I have some cool examples on how it looks to have your car charged. You guys all know this. Here is the level 1 charging, which is the slow boat to channel charging. At this current rate, you can barely see it. It takes about 19 hours to charge. If you're doing level 1 charging, if you have your car down underneath 50 miles an hour, I think he has 136 miles as it's charging right now. This is basically your level 2 charging here. Basically, you have roughly about 2 hours and 19 minutes that he put right here. Then if you go to supercharging, everybody knows that. Level 3 charging pretty fast, and you know you can be ticking along in 30 minutes or less for charging. So that's always good information that I like to pass out when I'm talking about the Teslas. Again, you have all of the average car price of a gasoline car, and then you have all of the plug-in and electric vehicles. The last thing I like to show you is one of my friends did a calendar for me in 2018 of the, and I might want to talk about this later, but since I brought it up, she did the a calendar for me for my car in 2018, and she did a great job. I met her at a car show, and she just took pictures of my car, made a calendar out of it. And this year in 2019, we decided to do a night version of the car. You might have seen me post some pictures at the Capitol as a backdrop with my car at night. We'll talk about that more in detail when I cover the lights in my car. I have so many different lights in this car. but try to tie it all in. But anyway, so I just wanted just to share the calendar with you really quick. She did a really good job. Her name is Laura Hatcher. You can find her on the internet at laurahatcherphotography.com. Gave you a little shout out there, Laura. She is a really talented photographer, as all photographers these days. They're pretty sharp in their business. They know their stuff. So that is the long slog story of this hood liner. Man, from this to this. A lot of people like my hood liner, and one of the many aftermarket items I have in my car.